Okay, you Raymond Chandler fans all over the world, I got a treat for you. I'm going to take you to where the great master of simile lived at 6520 Drexler Avenue here in the Fairfax district of Los Angeles. He lived here from October 1944 to approximately August 1946, and he moved here. Well, he was a screenwriter at Paramount, but I just want to say I don't think a lot of people who have come to this address have realized it, but it's between Sweetser Avenue and La Jolla Avenue. So I'm thinking that's probably the unconscious drive for Cissy and Ray to move away from here. In 1946, maybe that's where they got the idea to move to La Jolla. So here it is, Drexler Avenue. And he was making $1,000 a week, and they wanted him to write a thriller, a crime thriller. And John Houseman, his friend, the producer, asked him if he had any ideas, and Joe Sistrom, the executive producer, and he happened to be writing a book already, and they took a look at it and they said, yeah, we can do something with this. Alan Ladd, the great movie star of Paramount Studios, he was going to be redrafted into the Army, and he was going to be sent to the South Pacific in I guess March of 1945. And here it is, here's where they lived. And while living here, he sold that original screenplay for $25,000, but of course it wasn't finished yet. And they were up against the wall because, like I said, Alan Ladd, he was going to go into the Army, and they didn't know how long the war obviously was going to last at that period. And so they started right away building the sets and filming. Each day as the script would come out, they do a scene. And they were, like I said, they were up against the wall, and then they were panicking because Alan Ladd was going to be leaving in 10 days, and still they didn't know who the murderer was going to be in the movie. And in fact, it was supposed to be, I think, William Bendix, but the Army found out about it, the censors, so they made the culprit, I think it was a detective. I have to see that film again. But he got a massive dose of writer's block when they told him, hey, Raymond, we'll give you $5,000 a bonus if you finish that in time. And that's what did it. He got the worst case of the most amazing amount of writer's block. He panicked, and so what he ended up telling John Houseman, the producer, he said, the only way I can finish this is if I drink constantly around the clock, and that's the only thing that's going to give me the impetus, the creativity, and the energy. But he warned John Houseman, but I'm going to warn you, I've already kicked the habit, and if I start drinking again, I might kill myself. Well, they didn't have a choice. And John Houseman, he was an Englishman. He was a school buddy from England. They got along real well because Raymond, when he was young, his mom took him to England, and he was educated in private schools like John Houseman, and that's how they got to know each other. And so, okay, well, there were stipulations though. He had to have 2 Cadillac limousines parked in the front right here, and he had to have 6 secretaries working in 3 relays of 2 for dictation, and he had to have a direct line open into his office and studio switchboard at night. And the Cadillacs, if you're at all interested, were for fetching the doctor in case he got really sick, or Cissy was really sick at the time, taking script pages to and fro to the studio as he was writing them, and driving the maid to the market, and contingencies and emergencies. Well, he would drink like the Dickens, get himself really drunk, pass out, and then he would wake up, and then whatever secretary happened to be on shift, he'd start off from where he left off, And the most amazing amount of creativity. He ended up knocking it out with 6 days to spare. It was finished. He found the culprit he wanted in the movie. Alan Ladd went to the South Pacific, and it became a major hit. And Paramount, they really made a lot of money off it. And it was released April 19th, 1946. And while he was living here, they also adapted Farewell My Lovely into Murder My Sweet, which was released here while he was living here in December of 1944. And after he finished, and after the success of the Blue Dahlia, they bumped him up to $4,000 a week as a screenwriter. And then he got so sick of Hollywood and all the politics that from here they left in August of 1946. And like I said, what are the odds that La Jolla is that way east? And I'm thinking that's what gave him the unconscious energy to want to get out of here and go to La Jolla of all places. Okay, well, here it is for you fans all over the world. 6520 Drexler Avenue, and where the great master of simile, the savant of simile, lived from October 1944 to August of 1946. I could just imagine him passing out and waking up, writing, passing out around the clock. One of the most fantastic writers of the 20th century. Thankfully, it's still here. Raymond Chandler's 1930s, 1940s, Los Angeles. What gave him the inspiration of this Spanish architecture that he envelops in a lot of the themes in all his books. Okay, well, long live the master of simile.
What are you recording, sir?
This is where Raymond Chandler lived, right in this house, where he wrote the Blue Dahlia with Alan Ladd. You ever seen that movie? That's where he lived, right there.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Okay, well, there you go. Okay, well, let's go one more time. And like I said, this is where he got the inspiration for all the atmosphere in his books, this type of architecture. And luckily they haven't torn it out and turned it into something like that right there. All this modern stuff that they usually do. And at least we can get a little bit of a feel of what it must have been like here in the 1930s while the great master himself of simile lived. Okay, wherever you're at, I hope you're in a better place. Raymond, good night, sweet prince. And please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.